There is a push to help out firefighters who are in a battle with their health. Cancer diagnoses, you may not know this, are higher in firefighters than the general population.
And as News Channel 5's Kyle Horan learned, there's a bill in the state legislature to help those first responders get the response they need from insurance.
Supporters of this bill say they want to protect firefighters from what they say are workplace injuries. They say that firefighters are getting cancer from conditions they face on the job.
Andrew!
If we get hurt, we would like to be taken care of.
Fill the water.
Nothing more, just like any other injury.
On any call,
you can't always tell what scene you were on that you were exposed to a toxin that later on gives you cancer.
There's a certain level.
Any suit that we wear, any breathing apparatus doesn't cover everything 100%.
Of uncertainty.
Firefighters know there's risk to their jobs. It's a dangerous job.
And they tell you to watch that first floor. It's soft.
But it's uncertainty of another kind that's leaving these responders at risk.
We have a lot of cancers associated around the neck, throat, in the groin area. Cancers like that mostly.
Of life-threatening disease.
Our equipment keeps getting better through the years, but we keep contracting a higher rate of cancer than the general public. Studies have shown that there is a higher rate in firefighters and looked into what's causing it.
Eddie Mitchell is president of the Tennessee Professional Firefighters Association.
Furnitures and other things that are manufactured now that are in the home every day have all kinds of chemicals in them, toxic chemicals.
He's supporting a bill that, if made law, would treat 10 cancers as a workplace injury for firefighters.
We're exposed to at a lot higher rate when those things are on fire.
Cancers such as colon, lung, skin, mesothelioma, and others.
It's alarming if you look at the statistics across the states or even around the world. It's up there, and it's something that we're going to have to deal with.
A burden more easily handled if it's covered by workers' compensation.
If you try to get coverage for cancer as an on-the-job injury, you have to pinpoint that scene that you were on, that you were exposed to a certain chemical or agent that gave you cancer. Under this bill, by being a firefighter, you would be covered. It would be presumed that this was a job-related injury.
Kyle Horan, News Channel 5.
A 2013 study from the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health shows firefighters have a 14% higher risk of dying from cancer than the general public.
Happening now, a man considered armed and dangerous is still on the run. The search for Dwayne Halfacre, one of the TBI's most wanted, is expanding as officials say they no longer believe he is in Whitwell, Tennessee. Halfacre is accused of robbing a convenience store in Rutherford County last week. If you see him, you are asked to call 911. He is considered armed and dangerous. A man remains in the hospital tonight after he was shot in Murfreesboro fewer than 24 hours ago. Police made an arrest in that shooting earlier today. Police arrested Emmett Trey Lyons III. He's in jail and charged with attempted first-degree murder. The victim had a number of wounds. He's been identified as Corey Bush of Murfreesboro. Bush collapsed on a resident's front porch on Greenland Drive and remains in critical condition.
New information, President Trump is proposing a plan to provide a path to citizenship for 1.8 million younger immigrants in the U.S. illegally. That's according to a White House official. Trump's plan would dramatically scale back family-based migration, limiting it to spouses and underage children, and eliminate the visa lottery program. It would also include $25 billion for a border wall and unspecified billions more for additional immigration enforcement measures. The Senate is looking for ways to battle the opioid crisis. As Omar Jimenez shows us, today a subcommittee hearing was held specifically about how easy it is to buy opioids on the internet and have them shipped through the mail.
This is a massive loophole that's undermining the safety and security of our country.
In a hearing Thursday, the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee focusing on the ease of buying opioids and deadly synthetics like fentanyl on the internet and having them shipped to the U.S. in the mail.
Over the last several years, DEA has encountered a dangerous new trend, the convergence of the opioid epidemic and the synthetic drug threat from China.
Much of the illicit fentanyl comes from China, where it could be sent to Mexico to be cut with other drugs, or it could be sent directly to the U.S., oftentimes through the mail, usually as a much more potent product.
The percentage and the purity of the substance coming over the border on the southern border is a lot less than it is coming through the mail service.
The CDC says from 2016 to 2017, drug overdoses increased 16% nationwide. And states like Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Delaware saw increases of more than 40%. On average, the U.S. Postal Service says it processes and delivers more than 500 million pieces of mail every day, but it doesn't know what's in every package.
The Postal Service faces a number of challenges that private companies do not when dealing with illicit narcotics in the mail. For instance, the Postal Service is obligated to deliver international parcels even though it did not originally receive them from the customers.
The Postal Service says it's increased package seizures over the past year and is testing data that allows targeting of a greater percentage of the mail that comes through. In Washington, Omar Jimenez, News Channel 5.
The ex-wife of former NBA player Lorenzen Wright made a court appearance in Memphis today. Shara Wright is charged with first-degree murder, criminal attempt to commit first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, all in connection to his death. If convicted, Wright could face life in prison without parole, or even the death penalty.
An obscure Kentucky law requires victims of domestic violence to pay the legal fees of their abusive spouses in divorce proceedings when their abusers are in jail. Today, a state Senate Judiciary Committee advanced a bill to eliminate that provision. The bill would require the state to pay legal costs of abusers in such divorce cases.
More than 25 current and former educators are running for a seat in the Kentucky State Legislature this year. The Kentucky Education Association says that is a new record, and most say they are running because they are opposed to charter schools and they are concerned for the proposed changes to the teachers' retirement system.
Today is Election Day for the special primary election to fill the vacant 14th District State Senate seat. In the Republican primary, Joe Carr faces Shane Reeves. Gail Jordan is unopposed in the Democratic primary. The party nominees will move on to the March 13th general election. Polls close at 7.
Sadly, another child is dead tonight, a victim of the deadly flu strain that is sweeping the country. 12-year-old Dylan Winnick died earlier this week in Florida. Winnick never went to the doctor, but had a fever and complained of aching bones, both symptoms of the virus. Now his parents want others to take this illness seriously.
You shrug your shoulders. No way, we're healthy. You know, the kid's playing soccer. He's strong. He's getting ready to go to school.
This year's flu has already killed more than 30 children in 23 states, but doctors say sadly those numbers could rise as the end of the season is still a few months away. The dominant strain this year, H3N2, also called type A. Doctors say it is still not too late to get a flu shot, something Dylan did not receive.
A startling wake-up call for some people in California this morning.
Yeah, that's because the earth shook. But the early morning quake isn't the only one recorded today.
And our very own Henry Rothenberg is preparing for his professional basketball debut. A preview and information on how you can watch him shoot the hoops.
How do you follow that up? Hey, temperatures today near 60 degrees, but changes this weekend. I've got your forecast and the latest on my future professional basketball career coming up on News Channel 5 at 6:30.